Good morning. I will have everyone come to a comfortable seat. I'm going to use a block today. Maybe if it wants to stay, sometimes my block does not want to stay. When you make your way into a comfortable seat, you roll your shoulders back and down your spine. Rest your hands on your knees or your thighs. Close your eyes if that feels safe and comfortable for you today. Let the elbows hang. And start to bring your awareness to your breath. Without changing anything, notice the temperature of the breath as it comes in the nose, and the temperature of the breath as it goes out the nose. Maybe it feels a little cooler on the way in, and a little warmer on the way out. And if your thoughts start to wander here, come back to your breath. Come back to the temperature of the air going in and out of your body. Start to make the breath a little bit longer, a little bit deeper. Take long, slow, deep breaths in. Long, slow, deep breaths out. On the inhale, fill the lungs all the way to the top of the chest. And slowly exhale, just a little breath at a time. Elongate the exhale. And start to come back to your body. To your seat, on your mat, or the ground, or in your chair. Start to wiggle the fingers. Make circles on the knees with the thighs, with the hands. And today, I think it would be nice to do a self-massage practice again. I feel like I haven't done one of those in a while. So today we're going to work on the shoulders. And let's start that by just finding some movement in the shoulders. Press the chest forward. Try and touch the shoulder blades. And then shift the shoulders forward. Slide the shoulders forward. Cave through the shoulders, round through the back. Again, slide the shoulders back. Try to touch the shoulder blades. Squeeze and slide the shoulders forward. Round through the upper back. Follow your own breath here for a few cycles. Exhale as your shoulders go forward. Inhale, cycle back. You might notice that my hands are also sliding along my thighs. Help find a little support for the arms as you do this practice with the shoulders. So as they round forward, my hands are on the knees, and then I slide my hands back. And they're closer to my hips as my shoulder blades try to touch. Do one more round here. Let's start to make circles with the shoulders. So I'll bring the shoulders forward, up, back, and down. So again, we're going to round through the shoulders forward. Start to bring them up towards the ears. Squeeze up towards the ears. Find that squeeze as you shift them back. Try to keep the shoulder blades squeezing towards one another as you bring them down. Back to the back. Squeeze through the front, up towards the ears. These slow movements allow you to feel into which muscles are firing, where you feel the muscles engaging, and maybe where you're feeling some pain or stretching as well. We'll do one more round towards the back, and then we'll switch directions. We're going to go from the back, squeeze the shoulder blades back towards one another, and then we're going up towards the ears, round forward with the shoulders as they come down away from the ears. Going back, squeeze the shoulder blades, squeeze them up towards the ears, round forward, and down and back. Do a few rounds here. You squeeze up towards the ears. And one more round. And then allow your shoulders, elbows to hang. See how that feels. You can shake your arms out a little bit if that feels good. And let's swing the arms. So you're going to need a little bit of room here. We'll swing the arms back and forth. So you can cross them opposite ways. Or just swinging the arms back and forth. You can start smaller with less energy and then more energy into it. You can start to tap your shoulders on either side. And let that movement go as well. My shoulders are starting to feel warm. You can do a little bit of a movement now, like as we're rolling one shoulder back and then the other. And this is really more of a movement of the rib cage here as opposed to rolling the shoulder by itself, which you could also do. That feels nice as well. But to start to get the upper back and the muscles of the back that are involved, that are also in there with your shoulders loosened up. Let's start to use the upper back a little bit. So it's a bend. We're bending from the rib cage. And then a little bit of a twist. So you twist to your left a little bit, back, and then forward, twist to the right a little bit, back, and then forward. And then you can start to make that movement a little bit smaller. And start to bring the shoulders in a little bit more as well. So without the shoulders, this is kind of what the movement looks like. And then you can add in the shoulders. So you're bringing that shoulder up towards the ear as you set that elbow down, like as if you were reaching back and setting it down on something. Reach back, set it down. It's kind of a dance move, I guess. But I can feel the movement to open up my spine back there. Take any other movements that your body needs. That needed a round forward there. And I think that feels pretty good. Let's bring the hands to the shoulders. We'll just do some circles with the elbows now. It'll be similar to that same motion that we were doing with just the shoulders. But this time we're gonna try and bring the elbows together in the center. And then imagine you're trying to touch the elbows behind you, which I don't know if that's even possible, but squeezing the elbows back towards you. Which way was I going? Forward? Or back? Doesn't matter. Let's go forward. With the elbows, and I guess back with the shoulders. So we're making, I guess we're making circles with the elbows back, or rolling back. And let's roll forward. So reverse that direction. It's funny to look at myself here because it feels like I'm doing the same thing on both sides, but I'm clearly doing something different on my right side. Okay, there we go. It's nice to do this in front of a mirror, I think. Nice to do yoga in front of a mirror because then you can see which side of your body might be a little more out of alignment than the other. We can come back to stillness. And let's roll onto, or make your way into tabletop here. I am getting warm now. It's cold this morning. If this is too much pressure for your hands or your wrists or your shoulders, you can always drop down to your elbows as well here. You can do the same movement, but the movement that we are doing is similar to what we started with sitting, which is we're going to push the ground away. Also, hands or wrists are below shoulders, or elbows are below shoulders, shoulder distance apart here. So we're going to push the ground away and then allow the chest to slide down through the arms and squeeze the shoulder blades together. So push the ground away, slide down, squeeze the shoulder blades together. And to find a different little bit of movement here, you can even start to look over one shoulder and then the other as you push the ground away. So when the shoulder blades come together in the center, look down. As you push the ground away, look to the left. Shoulder blades together in the center, head down. Look over the right shoulder as you push the ground away. And what that would look like on your elbows is like this. So you can still look over your shoulders. And let's bring the big toes together, knees as wide as the mat. We'll find child's pose, wide-legged child's pose. Really focus on the shoulders here. Maybe you reach them out a little bit further than you might otherwise. See if you can feel a stretch there. And start to do little circles, very small circles. I'm not sure if you can see what I'm doing here. You can use your hands, press them into the mat, but not like, it doesn't need to be like engaged where you're up off of the mat, but just as a little bit of support. You can just keep them firm, planted into the mat. And from there, start to roll the shoulders back just a little. So it's the same movement that we were doing as we were sitting, this movement, but it'll be much smaller with the arms up. So still be a similar backwards motion, and we'll also go forward. So as you're in child's pose here, you can think about squeezing the shoulders just a little up towards the ear, and then squeezing the shoulder blades just a little back towards one another, and then down, and then allowing the shoulders to come forward. And it's almost like, instead of the shoulders are coming forward like this, they're just kind of opening up the side of the shoulder here as you're in child's pose. So I'm doing those circles. And let's reverse the direction. So we'll go forward now. And find some stillness. Maybe inch the fingertips just a little bit further out. Really feel the stretch on the shoulders here. I feel this a lot in this area on the side, which should be latissimus dorsi, and some of your shoulder cuff muscles like the teres major, minor, that sort of thing. Take some long, slow, deep breaths. Really breathe into the rib cage here. Let's walk the hands over to the left. And you can come back down. Feel that stretch on the right side of the body. Maybe you feel it all the way into the fingertips, into the hand. Again, long, slow, deep breaths in and out. Focus on expanding the rib cage, breathing into that stretch on the right side. You can even play with that right hand a bit, see if it changes the stretch for you at all. You can use your left hand to move the hand kind of, so if the hand is palm face down, you can interlace your fingers with your left hand on top of your right hand. Interlace the fingers and use the left hand to start to tilt that right hand over so that the pinky side of the hand is coming off of the floor and the thumb is still on the floor. So we're peeling it off over to the left. See if that changes how you feel the stretch at all. And then you can also start to flip the right hand over so the back side of the hand is on the floor. And you can interlace the fingers again and start to push that thumb side of the right hand with the left hand. Push the right thumb towards the ground. See how that changes the stretch at all. And let's walk the hands over to the right through center and over to the right. Long, slow, deep breath. Here, feel that stretch on the left side of the body now. Notice where you're feeling that stretch. Is it on the left side of the back? On the left side of the rib cage? Are you feeling it in your arm, your shoulder, down into your fingertips maybe? Keep breathing. Long, slow, deep breaths. Again, same options with the hands if you'd like to play with how you feel the stretch. You can bring that right hand on top of the left hand, interlace the fingers. So you're curling the right hand fingers around the left hand. So it looks like this. Can you see that? No. Like this. Or like this. And then once you're there with the fingers curled, you can start to peel the pinky side of the left hand off of the floor. Leave the thumb on the floor. Set the hand back down. Flip the left hand so the back side of the hand is on the floor. And you can use the right hand to begin to press that thumb side of the hand towards the floor. And then come back into the regular stretch. Let that left palm rest on the ground. One more long, slow, deep breath. Really breathe into that left side of the rib cage. And walk the hands back to center. We'll come back up into tabletop. I don't know about you, but my feet have started to fall asleep. So you can take whatever little movements you might need. You can tap the tops of the feet or wag the heels or tuck the toes. Whatever feels good today for you. And then we'll make our way back into tabletop. And this time, let's bring the left hand to the center of the mat, center of the chest, so that the Hand is just below the chest. We're going to inhale that right arm into the air for a little twist. Exhale, thread that right arm through the left side of the body. Oh, that doesn't sound right, but through the left arm and the left knee. Bring that right shoulder down to the ground. You can allow the head to come down, that left arm. Lots of options here. You can leave it on the ground just next to your head. You can have it rest on top of the right hand. You can bring it up above your head, out straight. You can bind it on your hip if that feels good. And you can also, if you have your hand, you have the left hand on top of the right hand, you can even inhale into a little bit of a twist here. Maybe exhale. Yeah, exhale. Exhale into the twist by pressing the right hand, the right side of the arm into the ground a little bit. And my favorite here is just to have my arm straight out above me. Feels a little more supportive for me. Let's bring that left hand next to the face. Maybe try to get it underneath your left shoulder. Inhale that right arm into the air. Exhale, plant it in the middle of the mat. Wind it up at the middle of the chest. Inhale that left arm into the air. Exhale, thread that left arm through the right arm and the right knee. You bring the head down to the mat. And today I put my microphone in my hair, and I think that's just not going to work for this position. So, see how this does. I'm going to put it on my shoulder. So again, same options for the hands here. You can bring the hand out to up above your head or leave it underneath the right shoulder next to your face. You can find a little more of a twist. You can bind it on the left side of the hip. Whatever feels good for you today. Take a long, slow, deep breath. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Plant the right hand underneath the right shoulder. Inhale the left arm into the air. Exhale, plant the hand down. I'm going to tuck the toes here and walk the hands back towards the knees and lift the knees off of the mat. Come into a little bit of a squat here and then raise the hips into the air. And this is forward fold. So if you would like to have a little bit of focus on your hamstrings, you can, but today we're going to do something a little bit different. here. This isn't going to be focused on the hamstrings so much as it is going to be an easy place to massage the front of your shoulder here. So we're going to be massaging the pec muscles. And it's nice to have the shoulders rounded forward and not flexing and in the shortened position. So when the muscle is coming across, when your arm is coming across the body, or that's the motion of the pec muscle, is to bring the arm in or across or up. And so that's the shortened position of the muscle. So in forward fold, you have that shortened position, but there's no effort to bring your shoulder into that position. So it's a relaxed, shortened position, which allows for some really easy ways to massage. So what we're going to do is you'll take let's do right hand into the front of the left armpit. And that pinching motion that we use on the shoulders and just in general, this kind of pinching motion. You're gonna use to bring you should be able to feel your pec muscle in there. So if we're in forward fold, and you can do this with your knees bent more, however is comfortable for you. And bring your right hand to the left armpit, and you'll feel your pec muscle. You can feel it at the front. If you press too far back into your armpit, you're not gonna. I mean, even if you press far into the back of your armpit, you'll still feel. If you press with your thumb on top, you can still feel that big muscle, the pec muscle, pectoralis major. And you can even do little circles with the fingertips. But in this position, I really like doing kind of just a squeezing motion. Like if you were, let's see. It's really just a squeeze. And if you find a spot that feels tender or tense, you can even pause there and just hold your pressure and just see what happens. But really try to let that left arm just hang there. And you can even get further in. So if you feel the majority of the pec muscle, it feels like a big muscle in there. And then you can follow the pec muscle from more towards the middle of your chest all the way out towards your shoulder, and you can feel it start to get smaller. It's like a kind of like a triangle would get smaller on one point. You can start to feel that, and where that starts to get smaller is where it attaches on your humerus, which is the upper arm bone. So you can start to get into those attachments too. And once you get up in that area, you'll also begin to start feeling maybe the front of your shoulder cap muscle, which is your deltoid muscle. That's the muscle that does this action, but it also helps with bringing your arm forward like this. So that's why you start to feel that. And you can, again, I'm just doing a kind of a this motion with my shoulder. Just let the arm hang. And you don't want to, I thought maybe I could do this. You don't want to rest your arm on your leg to help keep your body in this position. because you'll feel your muscle engage if you start to do that. So you really want to let it hang. But if this is hurting your low back, if you are unable to hinge from the hips and have just a little bit of bend in the knees so that your back is not rounding, but it's lengthened. If that's too hard, you can always come into a seat and still kind of feel the same thing, as long as you have no effort in this arm at all. There's still the same motion. There's just a little bit less room, I think, because when the arm is hanging down, it allows for there to be a little more room for your right hand to be. But it still works. And if you are sitting, it's even easier to do little circles on that pec muscle as well. So wherever you're at, we're just doing some little circles, some squeezes on that pec muscle, pectoralis major, and a little bit of anterior deltoid. Anterior is the anatomical term meaning front. So your deltoid muscle is a shoulder cap muscle. And by that I mean it's like where your shoulder pad would be if you were wearing a jacket or something with a shoulder pad in it. So you have a front portion of the deltoid, which is anterior deltoid. Then you have a middle portion of the deltoid. And then you have a back portion of the deltoid. And the back the anatomical term for back portion is posterior. So you have anterior deltoid, front deltoid, middle deltoid, and posterior deltoid or back deltoid. And that attaches back in here. So I think the squatting, you could also do yogi squat here to kind of get the same, I forgot my mic was here, to get the same effect. Let's do the other side. My left side is decided it's done now. So bringing the fingers to about the middle of the armpit. And you also want to be gentle in the armpit as well. I could have mentioned this on the other side as well. But you do have lymph nodes in here. So doing this is also a good practice for moving some of your lymph around, which is nice for your body. And something else I like to do here that I realize now that I'm here is kind of moving when I pinch, moving it back and forth, moving the muscle back and forth like this. So again, you can do this sitting down. You can see that I'm resting my arm on my knee, but I'm not trying to push myself up here. I'm leaning into, not really holding myself up at all. I'm just leaning over. I think it's really my hip that's holding me up. Get into those attachments on the arm, into the anterior deltoid and that front deltoid shoulder cap muscle. Oh, I got a good point. It's self-massage is one of those things that's really nice because you know exactly what pressure you want and need in every single spot. So you can press a little harder in the spots that don't hurt as much, press a little softer, be a little more gentle, pause in the spaces that have a little more tenderness. And you can do the little circles again with the fingertips. Just follow your own body and your own intuition. Once you start playing with self-massage on your muscles, you can feel into your own body and your spots that need attention that you might have not known about. And really tune in and just ask your body, like, what kind of movement here would feel best? Is it maybe it's a squeezing movement, maybe it's the little circles, maybe it's pushing, a slight push. Now we have the front, the pec muscles done a little bit. If you are still in forward fold, you can make your way back into a seat. And we're gonna just do circles on the front of the shoulder and more towards the center now as well. And we'll come into the sternum, which is the breastbone, this center bone that you can feel, you can tap on. And if you have been in my classes before, then you might remember this technique of if you just kind of a pulling motion to kind of loosen up the fascia. Your fascia is that connective tissue that is around every single muscle and around your whole body. So you're going to press down on your skin. You can also do this on your shirt, but it's a little harder because there's not like a pull that's like it's the friction of the skin against the skin. So if you kind of similar to if you press your hands together and then you try to slide them, you can feel that friction. It'll be the same way. You're going to press your hand into your skin. You can, if you feel your collarbone, your clavicle, your collarbone, clavicle, this bone here in the middle, you can feel the two little knobby knobs. So if you go, let's do the left side. We'll take the right hand. You can feel the collarbone. Just go straight underneath that, just underneath that. Maybe a finger's width just underneath your collarbone or your clavicle, and then press the hand into your skin so that you can feel pressure, but it shouldn't be super hard where you're like trying to push super hard into your chest. It's just a pressure, and then start to slide your hand around, but keep your hand exactly where it is. on your skin. So you're just sliding the connective tissue around underneath your skin. You can pull away and then up and over to the side, down. So you're really moving that fascia around. And then as you make these circles, you can start to move your hand just slightly in different places so that you get different circles. So after you make a circle, you can maybe shift the hand just a tad towards the middle. Start to get the circles overneath, over the middle, over the sternum, your breastbone. When I go over the sternum, I can feel, especially when I pull down, I can feel the attachments of my sternocleidomastoid muscle, which is the neck, this front neck muscle here that pops out when you turn your head to the side, your sternocleidomastoid. So it attaches on the sternum. So when I pull down, I can feel the fascia move on my neck. I can even feel that right up into here, really. Let's do the other side. So we're going to take the left hand. Again, find your collarbone, your clavicle, clavicle. Take your hand, maybe bring it all the way out to the side. You can follow the collarbone all the way out to your shoulder, and then bring your hand about a finger's distance just underneath the collarbone. Press that hand firmly into the chest and do some circles here. So pulling the skin around. And then you can start to, as you do a circle or two, you can start to move the hand towards the center. Maybe you also start to feel the fascia moving up into the neck. And now we've opened up the front of the chest. We've only got a few minutes left, so let's start to just do some squeezes on the trapezius muscle. So here, we're going to use the whole hand. The tool is going to be kind of like a wave of sorts. This kind of clamp. Less of a squeeze because we're not going to use the thumb quite as much. It's going to be more of a hand clamp. I'm going to bring the base of the palm to the front of the trapezius, which is, if you bring your hand to the side of the neck and follow it down, you'll feel this big muscle here. Especially if you squeeze up, you bring your shoulder up towards the ear, you can feel it flex underneath your hand. So, and for reference, you can also just bring the base of the palm just in front, just above the collarbone, that clavicle, the collarbone. So base of the hand, just above the collarbone, the front of the trapezius muscle. And the fingers are going to clamp down around the back of the upper trapezius, I should say. And you can just start to slide off of the muscle as you bring your hand closer. So it'll be kind of a motion that's like you clamp down and then slide off. You're going to kind of curl your fingers in towards your palm. So maybe I should get closer. And slide off the shoulder. And we'll do this on the other side. So I did the right side, whichever side you did. Bring the opposite side, hand, the base of the palm just above the collarbone of the clavicle. And again, clamp down with the fingers and slide off of the trapezius. Ooh, felt that go up into my ear. I'll just do that a few times. And just see how the shoulders feel now. Move the neck around a bit. Circles, neck. And let's bring our hands to heart center. I just want to thank you so much for showing up today. Thank you for allowing me to guide you through this practice into your shoulders. Hopefully they feel a little looser, or maybe you feel a little more aware of how your shoulders are doing. I hope you have a day, and thank you.